morning, everybody. Today we are going to present prevalence of self-medication and antibiotic misconception in Kasetsart University. My name is Sakara Wisut.
My name is Prevalence.
My name is Susakon Thirumrongchai.
My name is Jessadakon Undiranson.
Why is it important to investigate on this topic? First, you should know how antibiotic resistance happens. The first step, there are a lot of germs, and then when you take antibiotic will kill bacteria causing the illness, as well as some bacteria will protect themselves from curing. Now the drug-resistant bacteria take over. These bacteria have ability to give their drug resistance to others. These cause more problems. And this is statistic about the death from antimicrobial resistant infection and other cause in 2015. You can see the deaths from drug resistance on the top of chart. Situation in Thailand. In 2010, antimicrobial resistance caused at least 3.2 million extra hospitalization days and about 38. In 2012, the rate of death in Thailand is 19 deaths per year with 67 million people, whereas in the US, the rate of death is 23,000 deaths per year with 360 million people, comparatively very high. And next, we will talk about the objective of this project.
Objective. We do this project to determine the prevalence of self-medication using antibiotics and to determine the prevalence of misconception about antibiotics. Before we go to the method, we need to define the terms. Self-medication means when you buy antibiotic drug without doctor prescription. Antibiotic misconception means inaccurate knowledge about antibiotic. Next, method and participants. Method: cross-sectional study. Our survey is adapted from the WHO questionnaire. We had done pilot tests on pre-medical students to find the prevalence of misconception about antibiotics, to calculate the number of our participants, and to test the coherency of our survey. After we do the pilot test, we correct the survey and collect data by internet-based survey. After we have data, we analyze it. We conclude and evaluate it to address the objectives to compare with other similar studies. Participants. We do the survey with 400 students in Kasetsart University from 13 faculty. More than half are female. Our questionnaire includes two main subjects. First is antibiotic usage, and the second is antibiotic resistance. Next, Sakon will talk about timeline.
Alright, so we're going to talk about our timeline. We have first planned and researched about antibiotics for 2 weeks, topics for 1 week, and after that we formulate the survey for another week, and we did the pilot study on another week, and we also edit the questionnaire for 2 weeks, and we present our first presentation during the first week of April, and then we collect data on the third and the fourth week. And on the fourth week, we did some statistical analysis, and we did research and finalized our presentation.
Collect the data from the sample of 400 students in Kasetsart University. Let's see statistics. From the question about understanding about antibiotics, about 1/4 of the sample have mediocre about antibiotics, and about 50% of the sample had used antibiotics by themselves without any prescription. Conception about antibiotics. Most of the sample had got 3 points about knowledge of antibiotics, and about 55% have correct idea what is antibiotics. When did you stop taking antibiotics? About 83% of the sample have correct answer about the time to stop taking antibiotics. And we also asked them about
the level of antibiotic resistance problem. Only 35% of the sample recognize that antibiotic resistance problem is a global issue. We performed a pair t-test and we found that the p-value is less than 0.0001, which means these two factors are highly related. So I'm going to talk about conclusion and evaluation.
Next, we're going to talk about conclusion and evaluation. Conclusion. We found that the prevalence of self-medication is 50.7%, and we found that the prevalence of antibiotics misconception is 23.2%. Therefore, we can conclude that, to some degree, there's a lack of knowledge about antibiotics evaluation. First, in this study, we used prevalence instead of incidence, so it's not as credible as incidence, and we also used the concept of antibiotics that might be too distant or might be too unfamiliar for normal undergraduates. Moreover, more than half of our participants. Implications. From our studies, we can understand that we need to help to do some promotion on giving correct information about antibiotics and what is antibiotics resistance. Unfortunately, we don't have time to do all that stuff. In comparison to other studies, the prevalence of non-prescribed antibiotics used 80% in 78% in Yemen and Uzbekistan. Moreover, self-medication in Nigeria is about 53.8%. This is our bibliography, and thank you so much for listening to us.